Being healthy and even losing weight during the holidays is not only attainable, it's relatively easy. Moment of silence. So say national health experts, Drs. Mark and Michele Sherwood. This dynamic duo of health and wellness have been featured on multiple TV networks, Family Circle magazine, and the Huffington Post. And together, they founded and operate the Functional Medical Institute, which has helped thousands of patients nationwide. So good to have you with us today. Thanks for being here and making the effort on this terrible day outside.
Good to be here.
Very appropriate for the holiday season. And, you know, everyone's figuring, well, we're going to put on 5 or 10 pounds and we're going to indulge and splurge. But you say it's relatively easy to stay healthy when the temptations are kind of sometimes maybe overwhelming. How is that?
Well, you have to kind of look at this time of year as not a time of year to go backwards, but a time of year to go forwards. Many times we wait, you know, Stephen and Valerie, until the beginning of the year to kind of undo what has been done. So this time of year, we want people to just kind of understand life and really understand that this is about a time of giving and not taking away from our health. So we want to be a little more cautious, if you will, regarding the selections of food we eat, and just kind of be aware of it and realize that we don't have to go backwards and just have to, as I was telling you before the segment came on, your why has to be pretty strong. You know, your reason has got to be health.
Right. Now, I'm sure you've got some great tips and some do's and don'ts, but are there some things that you should absolutely stay away from? Doesn't matter what time of the year it is.
Well, we always talk about the top 5 foods that you should avoid. Number 1 is sugar. We know that sugar causes inflammation. It causes us to age quickly. It produces age glycosylated end products in the body, something that we really didn't used to know about. But inflammation is the precursor to all chronic sickness and disease. So sugar, get it out. Number 2, artificial sweeteners.
Okay.
It's in everything.
So even the substitutes that are chemically based.
They are chemically based. And we forget that everything we put into our bodies, every cell in your body has to see it. Not only your liver cells, your kidney cells, but your brain cells. And nobody wants to lose their mind. And if we start to think about what we're putting in our system as gasoline, is this gasoline good for me or bad for me? Like you said, chemical is not good. Then the trans fats and the hydrogenated oils, those are not real fats. Those are not things that create healthy cell membranes, fluidity in the body. If you put the good oils in your system, it's like changing oil in the engine of your car. So we try to avoid those trans fats and hydrogenated oils.
A lot of the eating that takes place during the holidays is based on emotions. You know, I'd imagine, I don't know, Dr. Mark, is that true? And so when your emotions are not intact, you start to eat out of whack, I guess.
That is so true. You know, we typically eat because we want to feel better. And unfortunately, this time of year, instead of bringing joy, many times in people's lives, it brings great sadness because they think about the wrong things instead of the right things. And when you think about the wrong things, of course, your emotions are going in the tank and you want something to make you feel better. Few people understand that sugar operates in the same neurotransmitters or reward centers as cocaine. So it does make you happy. It's a false sense of happiness, but it's kind of an addiction that we get on a train and we can't get off. So it's really good to understand our comforter, not to be over spiritual, of course, but the comforter is our Heavenly Father. And we need to understand that all of our needs are met through Him. All of our happiness is through Him instead of through, you know, the false friend of food, if we call it like that.
Okay, so what about I'm sorry, because I really want to know what not to do this holiday season. What about some of the substitutes? Like,
that's exactly what I was going to ask.
You know, what are some of the substitutes that we can have that are healthy in the categories that you said to stay away from?
Well, some of the things that we put in there are like xylitol, stevia. Stevia comes from a plant and it does not affect insulin.
Xylitol as well, it's natural?
Xylitol is natural. Erythritol. The sugar alcohols we have to be careful not to get too much of because they can agitate the stomach, but the sugar alcohols do not affect the blood sugar insulin phenomenon that goes on and creates fat storage. And stevia is a plant that doesn't affect insulin either, and it does not have a negative effect on the system. When we're looking at oils, of course, we can use good coconut oil, things like macadamia nut oil, even almond oil. There's other oils that are healthy, even olive oil, to use for cooking. We even put coconut oil in our coffee. We call it bulletproof coffee in the morning.
Yeah. I learned about
Terrific.
that last year in
Wow,
Australia.
It's
Great.
fantastic.
It's amazing.
Great fat burner, great satiety, will keep you full.
Yeah.
Some other things you can kind of use, you can substitute your wheat flours for almond flours, which is a terrific idea. We want to be a little careful with the white flours, of course, these days, even the wheat flours. So when you substitute the almond flour, you can do a little cooking that's kind of appealing to you and create the dishes you want to create with good ingredients.
So with the substitutes, let me ask you this: like stevia, I know you can get stevia, you can get coconut oil, you can get almond flour and coconut flour and others. But when it comes to cooking, does it change the way you got to do things? Is there a new learning process, or is it simply a substitution of A for B?
Well, one of the biggest things is its taste. You know, sometimes we have to change the taste that we get used to with a canola oil or a safflower oil. The good things about things like coconut oil is it's got a higher smoke point. So the charred meats create polycyclic hydrocarbons, which can be toxic to the system. The good thing about coconut oil is it can handle a higher heat. When you're cooking with olive oil, you have to cook at a lower heat because its smoke point is lower.
With the new year coming up, just kind of moving ahead here a little bit, because you know this time of year, people are making resolutions and saying, okay, the first exercise thing I see on TV, I'm buying that thing, and we're going to make it work this year. Any advice on making resolutions and sticking with a longer-term plan to stay healthy and to stay well?
Yeah, a couple things, of course. Don't wait till January 1st. There's no time like the present. I mean, this is a year about gifts and presents, so why not start today? You can't repeat this moment, so start your New Year's resolutions right now. And goal-wise, you want to start small. You want to kind of, as I say, failure-proof your goals. For example, going to the gym. If you're not going at all, for Pete's sake, don't start saying, I'm going to go for 5 days a week, because you're going to fail. How about starting it at just one? And be happy with one and learn to do that for a month. And if you go more, well, that's a bonus. You have to start small with these goals and then set your goals, monthly, even going backwards to weekly or even quarterly, and make them realistic. Don't make them unrealistic. Don't say I'm going to lose 40 pounds in a month. Of course, that goes back to what we were saying. Don't gain 40 pounds in a month either by going off the wagon. But goal-wise, be smart about it and failure-proof those things.
Dr. Michele, would you speak to the retirees who are watching us today and they're saying, I can't even do that. How can they slow down the pace and still get that exercise, to get it in and to be healthy, even at, even in their 60s, 70s?
Absolutely. Number one is just getting off the couch. Going from sitting to standing is movement. And we say move that body. Even going to and from the mailbox. As you go to and from the mailbox, just deep breathe. Getting that breath moving is a big thing for the system. And the system does slow down, and that's okay. 15-minute walk around the block at a pace that you can tolerate. So it really does become about movement.
I have to tell you, I was looking at some images of you, and I want to be you. I was looking at your biceps, your triceps. I mean, you have some guns on you. Kind of give us the backstory. Here we are, the two of you. What's going on here?
This is what you look like every day.
This is what she really looks like, people.
Yes, she does. We go to the gym every day, and it's amazing what she's able to achieve. And genetically gifted, yes, but she does work hard.
Yeah.
It takes work.
Yes. You have a lot of great help that's out there at the Institute through resources that you all put out to help folks. One thing that you talk about is the pathway to healing. If you could just share about that for a few minutes.
That's one of our favorite projects. It's a free project that we created for people just to have. It's kind of like a trail of breadcrumbs, if you would, to lead people to the actual answer to healing, which we know is Jesus. But we want to give people real tangible examples of what they can do every day, physically, talking about eating, talking about exercise, talking about choices and handling those emotions, and leading people down that pathway of what causes chronic sickness and disease, what is a catalyst to get that, and what fixes it. Finally, what's the solution? So through the pathway, we're able to get that.
Excellent. And we're going to dig into that a little bit more because we're going to have you guys back. But to connect with Drs. Mark and Michele Sherwood, go to sherwoodwellness.tv or go to our website, harvest-tv.com, and find an easy way to link back. Coming up later, Brian Bush with your prayer request today. But up next, we're going to hear from Pastor Mark Lance with Connections. We'll be right back.